Hello YouTube. Today we're going to explore, is Jesus Christ really a superstar? Since the emergence of cinema, it has actively explored the image of God. The search for God took place in not only American cinema industry but also involved various renowned creators worldwide. However, we'll specifically examine American cinema today as it uses both Old and New Testaments to depict the image of Jesus Christ. These endeavors can be broadly categorized as historical dramas, such movies like Jeremiah, the miniseries The Bible. All these films focus on earthly life of Jesus Christ. Cinema not only adapts complete biblical narratives, but also borrows individual elements from religion, portraying images of God, angels, and demons, like in movie Constantine, the Apocalypse, like in Supernatural, scenes like in the thriller Seven, and exorcism rituals, The Exorcist. Comedies are made on religious themes as well, like Sister Act and Bruce Almighty. And of course, there's the rock opera Jesus Christ Superstar. The diversity of characters, genres, and themes in American cinema related to religious issues clearly indicates the scale of production. Most films had multi-million-dollar budgets. The high demand for such works, and the audience readiness to perceive religious themes, not only from different perspectives but also in different moods, as light, purely entertaining films, or as pictures requiring serious reflection and empathy.
Hello, Congressman. Mind if I park my boat here for a little while?
How?
However, a question arises. To what extent do these numerous films have any relevance to religion? How much are they aimed at awakening at least some religious experience in the viewer? There are many movies where religious plots are used more as a means than as an end. An example is the film Constantine, which, while posing questions about the choice between good and evil, God and the devil, is clearly more focused on captivating the audience with colorful special effects. However, Hollywood also produces films intended to evoke immediate religious experience in the viewer. Typically, these films are dedicated to the earthly life of Jesus Christ. The first films about Jesus appeared in the silent film era, and with the advent of sound cinema, the production of films about Christ gained momentum. Among the most successful and iconic films are King of Kings, a remake of a silent film with a similar title, The Greatest Story Ever Told, Ben-Hur, Noé, The Word, Jesus Christ Superstar, Jesus, The Day Christ Died, and The Last Temptation of Christ. It can be argued that Hollywood is currently experiencing a kind of boom in producing such films. In recent years, the following films have been made: The Passion of Christ, Magdalene, Released from Shame, The Road to Emmaus, Jesus, Dream of the Ages, Son of God, and Killing Jesus. There is a certain tradition in American cinema in terms of depicting Christ himself and presenting the New Testament story. Of course, directors and actors develop their own vision, but this does not include the presence of some stereotypical moments. Above all, the human nature of Jesus is emphasized in American cinema. While his divinity is more implied, Christ is primarily portrayed as a good person, kind, friendly, and peace-loving. He's approachable, and he cares for ordinary people. It is also interesting that in American cinema, it adapts specific episodes from the gospel narrative, such as the Sermon on the Mount, the forgiveness of the adulteress, the Last Supper, and so on. These episodes are mostly taken from the three synoptic gospels. The Gospel of John is less frequently adapted. This is significant detail because the synoptic gospels highlight the humanity of Christ, whereas in the Gospel of John, Christ is transcendent, distant, and mysterious. One can conclude that in American culture, the image of Christ as a good person is in demand, although the evangelical text allows for various interpretations of this image. Of course, in the United States, films are also made that go beyond this specific tradition, offering the audience some alternative interpretation of gospel events. Jesus Christ Superstar and the Last Temptation of Christ share a common feature: the symbolization of the image of the Son of God. New Testament events are conveyed through the inner drama of the Savior. The differences lie in the components of this drama. In the first case, Christ acknowledges his own powerlessness and the meaninglessness of his preaching, while in the second, he doubts and fears accepting his mission. The focus on the inner experience of Jesus noticeably distinguishes these two films from movies made in a more traditional vein, where the Savior is portrayed as a complete, harmonious personality, and the moment of doubt, though present, does not dominate the film's plot. Also, both films introduce episodes or narratives that are loosely aligned with the Gospels. For example, in the film Jesus Christ Superstar, there is a scene where Jesus pushes away the beggars and lepers crowding around him.
Get out! Get out!
The psychologization of the image of Christ looks quite organic within the overall Western and American cultural context, as they characterized by increased interest in psychological explorations and issues of Christ's moral choice. The Passion of Christ, yes, Mel Gibson, develops the image of the Savior in a fundamentally different direction. The emphasis is precisely on his physical suffering. Psychological moments are minimized even compared to traditional films. Mel Gibson films not so much destroys the aforementioned tradition of American cinema, as that he hyperbolizes it. The film is shot in reconstructed Aramaic and Latin with overdubbing or subtitles, and in the scourging scene, the actor playing Jesus, James Caviezel, was hit twice with a whip. The cross he carried to Golgotha weighed 155 pounds. Though most films about Christ are relatively optimistic, Gibson takes a fundamentally different path. He limits himself to the last 12 hours of the Savior's life. To achieve these elements of horror films, he introduces the infernal image of Satan and the scene of Judas' suicide, the faces of children transform into demon visages. It is noteworthy that Satan is indeed mentioned in the three synoptic Gospels during the temptation in the desert, but in the Passion of Christ, he is practically the second main character. As a result, an extremely oppressive impression is created. This, presumably, was the intention of its creators. As I mentioned in the beginning, the portrayal of Christ is actively utilized not only in the film industry in the United States, but also worldwide. There are some very curious examples. For example, there is a British-Russian collaboration, The Miracle Maker. The animated film explores the life of Jesus through a unique blend of two-dimension characters and stop-motion animation.
Well, unless I see him right here, before me, like that, in front of me, right here, and unless I see the mark of the nails and put my finger into those wounds, I will not believe.
Thomas.
What?
Thomas.
I've got nothing to say on this matter to anyone. Anyone at all.
Go on. Put your finger here. Touch the marks. Don't be a doubter anymore. Believe.
Or The Messiah, 2007, Iran, directed by Nader Talebzadeh. This Iranian film develops into the story of Jesus from Islamic viewpoint, presents a perspective that aligns with Islamic beliefs about Jesus or Isa as a prophet.
شما مسافرانید مانند سیاحان آیا سیاه میگیرد برای خود راه قصرها، مزرعه ها و انبار دنیا؟
All of these films are very unique. They made worldwide, they explore searching for Christ and belief, religion. But there is some common thing. These films gives us hope for fostering a dialogue among nations with the potential to achieve peace. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for this channel, and I hope I'll see you in the next episodes. Bye.